today's episode of CU Career TV. My name is Erin Lewis. I am the Assistant Director of the Clarion University Center for Career and Professional Development, and today I'm going to talk about how to explore the STAR interview. The STAR interview is simply an acronym for Situation, Task, Action, Results. And when we use this acronym, it helps us to remember how to effectively answer interview questions. So let's break it down. The S in STAR is for situation. The situation is simply your who, what, when, where, and how. And the situation should be relevant and important to the answer. So for example, if you leave important details out of the situation, your answer for your interview question could take on a completely different meaning. The T is for task. The task at hand essentially describes just that, the task you were responsible for in that situation. It needs to be specific, but also concise. Don't spend a lot of time dwelling on the details of the task, and it should definitely highlight any challenges that you faced. The A is for action. What did you do? What action did you take to help you in that situation with your task? How did you complete the task at hand? And focus on the qualities that the hiring manager might be looking for. So situation, task, action, and the R is for result. As a result of that situation and the task at hand and the action that you took, what happened? What was the outcome? And if there is a way that you can provide detail and quantify that result, the hiring manager will be even more impressed. What did you learn? That is something you can also cover in your results. So when do we actually use the STAR method? Well, it can be applied to a variety of interview questions, but specifically it is very helpful when you are trying to address answers that you might want to highlight teamwork or problem solving or planning, or when you took initiative or showcased your leadership skills, and also times where you might have had to overcome conflict or utilize interpersonal skills, and those times when you need to demonstrate when you were under stress or maybe high pressure situations. So prior to your interview, you need to prepare. You need to do a little bit of research. And we've talked about that research in a lot of these episodes, but preparing and doing your research will help you to understand what exactly are the hiring managers going to be looking for. What is that specific job and what tasks will you be using in that position, and how can you showcase that you have the skill sets that are necessary in order to be successful? So picking the skills that the employer is specifically looking for will help you to stand out and highlight how you are qualified. So let's talk about getting the most out of the STAR method. So be prepared, right? We've already talked about doing that research and going in with a solid set of STAR success stories. That's right, the keyword is success. You don't want to tell me about a time that you faced a challenge when you actually didn't have a success at the end. You always want to have a positive outcome to your success story. So take time, look at what the employer is looking for, and prepare your stories. Think about times when you've utilized teamwork. Think about times when you've had conflict or maybe had to solve a problem, and be prepared with those stories as solid evidence. You also want to be specific, right? The situation, be specific. I one time had a student tell me about the time that he was in a juvenile detention center and it was a group therapy session and a fight broke out. Well, there was no specificity there, so I thought he was actually in a juvenile facility as an adjudicated juvenile, but he was actually doing an internship at that facility. Your answer suddenly becomes very, very different if you're not specific. So be specific and identify those skills, and remember to highlight these to the hiring manager. Number 3, quantify, quantify, quantify. Data, dollars, and numbers are your friend. Anytime that you can talk about percentage increases, anytime you can talk about the number of team members that you worked with, or you can talk about results, right? Did you increase your club membership by 58%? Did you develop a strategy to make setup 89% more effective? Talk about those specific quantitative results, and be also prepared to talk about how you measured those results. How did you come up with 58% or 89%? And anytime that you tell me that you were a success, you should have some sort of a number to tell me how successful you were. And you want to back that up whenever possible. Number 4, keep it simple, sweetie. Be concise. It doesn't need to go on and on. I don't want the extra fluff. In my house, we call that marshmallow fluff, right? It doesn't always make the hot fudge sundae better. So keep it simple. Only give me what I need and keep the irrelevant information out. So watch body language of the hiring professional. If they're checking their clock, if they're yawning, if they're looking around, chances are you have gone on too long. Number 5, this one probably goes without saying, but always, always, always be honest. It can be tempting to make up a story that sounds way cooler than the real life, correct? But what happens is you get caught in that lie, and now all of a sudden you are no longer trustworthy. And no one wants to hire someone that we cannot trust. So always be honest. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It just needs to be true, and it needs to show me the skills that you have in order to successfully do the job. So don't undermine your credibility. Always be honest. So what does this look like in a real example? So if we look at the interview question, can you tell me about a time you went above and beyond your expected duties? We are going to pretend for this situation that the employer is specifically looking for problem solving and initiative, right? 2 really important things when you are applying for any industry. So our situation is that we were part of a club and we were working on a membership drive, and we were in a meeting on campus, and it was a very snowy evening, and we realized that the advisor to the club was not going to be able to make it back to campus in order to participate in the meeting, and that is where we were supposed to draft a plan to increase our organization's membership. That's our situation. We're in a meeting, and our advisor cannot make it to campus. The task is I was looking for a way to take on more responsibility, and so I spoke up at the meeting and said I would be happy to draft the membership recruitment plan and work individually with our advisor in order to make this happen by the next day. So situation is the advisor can't make it, it's a really bad snowy night, but it's an urgent plan that has to be done immediately. And so I have taken initiative to meet with that advisor. Situation, task. The action that I took, right, is I drafted a plan and worked with my advisor to go ahead with the plan on schedule. So the action I took, I drafted a plan, I worked with my advisor, okay? The result, situation, task, action, result. The result is we were able to increase membership by 25%, and I decided to run for an executive board position the following year. So situation, task, action, result. I could have said, tell me about a time you went above and beyond your expected duties. I developed a membership plan, and we were able to get more members in our club. That doesn't tell me very much at all. I don't know the situation, I don't know the task or the action or the result. So by using the STAR interview method, I took an interview answer that was very, very weak, that didn't show me any strengths, it didn't show me any initiative or problem solving or communication skills or teamwork skills, and it just basically told me that you were in a club and you wrote a plan. But by using the STAR method, we were able to see all of the skills that you had to offer that the employer was looking for. So use the STAR method in your interview process and strengthen your interview skills. If this is something that makes you uncomfortable, or you find to be confusing or sounds a little challenging, we have a mock interview program here at the Center for Career and Professional Development that will help you to practice these skills. You can Google a list of questions, but having somebody sit down with you and go through your answers to really look for the situation, task, action, and result will help you to develop the skill set that you need to wow any employer.